Hello everyone, it's your girl Mo Heavens, and am I excited to be here again. Now, I promised I was going to do something on depression pretty soon, and today is that day. I've got a personality here that is a professional in this field. She's going to throw a lot of light into what depression is, how to identify if one has depression, and everything that comes to mind. I am excited to introduce Tayo Akin Agbola to you.
Hi, my name is Temi. I'm a mental health practitioner. I'm here today to shed more light on what it means to be depressed and what clinical depression is all about. Today, we'll be giving a broad definition of what depression is, the causes of depression, the signs and symptoms of depression, and when to actually seek for help. Depression is a broad term generally used to describe a feeling of unhappiness, but for you to be clinical depressed, it means you must be experiencing that low mood, unhappiness, lack of motivation for lasting months, weeks, but not just a few days. It's a normal everyday feeling. Sometimes we will just wake up and feel low in mood, lacking motivation to do the things we used to enjoy. If it's not lasting more than a few days, 2, 3, 4 days, that's quite all right. It's within the normal acceptable limits. But when you start feeling consistently low for more than a week, lacking motivation to do the things you used to enjoy, not wanting to do, just thinking that life is not worth living, and you've actually got to the extent of thinking you're better off being not being here, that's when it's serious and you need to seek for help. So what does it mean to be depressed? When you have feeling of low mood which has lasted for more than a week, you wake sometimes depression manifests in physical symptoms. You're feeling lethargic, fatigue, not wanting to eat, just getting up in the morning and just persistently feeling tired without no organic cause. Persistent headache, sometimes lack of sexual drive. You just don't want to be here. You dread waking up to see another day. Then that's when you would be classified to be depressed. And what could be the trigger or the causative factor for people to be depressed? Stressful life situation can bring about depression. Say bereavement, loss of function. Say you used to have a job, you lost your job, your house is being repossessed, just stressful life situation. Even having a child can bring about depression, because this is like a change in role. You're new to this, it comes with different challenges of its own. It could bring about depression, really. So when you start noticing you're just being tearful, crying a lot, lacking motivation, you seems to be withdrawn, you don't want to see your friends, you can't just meet up with people, you're socially isolating yourself, you're withdrawn, every single opportunity you're crying without no just cause, and you're just thinking, I'm better off dead. You need to seek help. And what is this help? A lot of people have, like I said previously, have had depression, have come out of it, and I've been living a successful, normal life. With depression, little changes to our everyday life could bring about a positive outcome. So, eating healthily could be a treatment for depression. Living an active life, going to exercise, going to the gym, or having an active lifestyle releases some of these feel-good hormones, which is necessary. When people have depression, it's just like an imbalance of hormones, which is the hormone responsible for us being happy. There's a low level of it in the brain at the time when people are depressed, so they just don't seems to be able to activate any pleasure in things they do. So being prescribed medication sometimes could also help lift up this feel good hormone, and things will return back to normal. And one of the good things that we used to benefit, looking at the black minority ethnic group, or categorically Africans, where we come from, in the past, or probably in Africa, or Nigeria to be precise, where we are from, we benefit from having family support, social network, having neighbors, friends, people to look out for you and check in to see things are okay for you. These are one of the things that protects us, kind of give us immunity against depression in Africa. But in this part of the world where we live in, everybody has got a busy lifestyle. It's not because they don't care, but they haven't just got that time to check in with you. And in Africa, or Nigeria to be precise now, things are starting to shift. Everybody seems to be busy, and you know this lifestyle of I want to be seen to be minding my business. So a lot of people do have issues, underlying issues that make them unhappy within themselves. But because I don't want to be the talk of the town, I don't want to be seen as a weak person, I don't want to be the topic of discussion, everybody seems to bottle in. You internalize some of these feelings, and it gets to a point whereby things just tip over. But if you just, sometimes you benefit from just talking to people, no matter the situation, no matter what you're going through. You're not the only one. There've been people that have experienced it, they've come out of it. There are people that would experience it after you. But the ability to hold on to that hope when everything seems to be lost, that's the key thing to come out of depression. Say it's loss of job, redundancy, bereavement, postnatal depression. There's somebody out there to listen to you. Seek out for help. Not necessarily medication, like I said. Medication is one of the intervention, coupled with talking therapy, talking to people, having someone to lean on, having a shoulder to cry on, having that support when you need it. Sometimes just having someone giving you a phone call to check in. Are you all right today? How are you feeling? Have you had something to eat? Would you want us to go out for a walk? It lifts your mood, lifts your spirit, and you feel that somebody is out there who cares about you. My brothers and sisters, I will employ you, no matter the situation, no matter what you're going through, seek help, speak to somebody. Depression is real. Do not see it as a form of weakness. Nobody is immune against depression. If you have any feeling of unhappiness which is lasting more than a week, you having, sometimes it manifests in physical symptoms like body ache, fatigue, just losing weight, you have lack of sexual drive, you having any of these things, and there isn't any organic cause, nothing being linked to be the cause of all these symptoms, then you could be looking at things to see that what actually are things really working out positively in your life. What is it you're not happy about? How can you change this situation? How can things be improved? Depression is not a form of weakness. Please seek help, come out. A lot of people have lost their life fighting this battle alone, but I can assure you, with the right support and intervention, there's no one who cannot come out of depression. Like I said earlier, I work with people who have had depression, who are still going through depression, and people who have recovered and they have positive outcomes. Please, if you feel you're depressed, seek help. Speak to people. There's loads of people, charities, organizations, church, religious groups that are willing to share some of these experiences with you, and they could sometimes prayers, it does wonder, whatever it is, because at the time when you're depressed, you've lost all hope. Just the key thing to recovery is at your lowest, at the lowest of the lowest mood, there's someone there being positive and speaking optimistically to you and making you realize that there's a light of that at the end of that tunnel. Just have somebody, have a body, somebody to hold on to that hope for you when everything seems to be lost, and I can assure you, you would come out of depression. Thank you. What I would say to my brothers and sisters in Nigeria about depression is, depression is real. It has no respect for age, class, sex, affluence. No, it has got no respect, and no one is immune to it. I understand that in Nigeria we do struggle with things like stigma attached to mental health, or you would be seen as being weak. But again, nobody is immune against it. Please seek help. Do not see yourself as a weak person by coming out to say, I need help, I'm struggling with this. So help can be sought by in Nigeria, I believe help can be sought by just speaking to somebody you trust. A lot of times, just speaking, having somebody to pour your mind to, speak to someone about it. Sometimes you think that whatever you're going through, you're the only one going through it or the only one experiencing it, but I can assure you that there are loads of people going through the same thing. No matter what the situation, no matter how bad you think things are for you, someone has gone through it, someone is going through it, someone will still go through it. So just have it in mind that speaking to someone might just be a way out. You might be thinking, oh, I haven't got food tomorrow. The last time I had was 3 days ago. This is what is making you so low in mood, and you're thinking you're better off dead. You never know. The next person you're speaking to might have food in their house. They're thinking, I've got excess, I need to throw some away. But if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't speak up about these things, nobody knows what you're struggling with. Nobody knows what your feelings are. So whenever you feel you're struggling with anything, I'm not saying go about talking to everybody that cares to listen about your problem, but I can assure you there will be at least one person you trust and you can share your darkest moments with, your intimate secrets with, and you can be sure that you would not be the topic for discussion. So just having that person, that body to call on when all seems to be lost, that's the key thing. It could be in your church, it could be at workplace, it could be your neighbor, it could be your siblings, it could be your parents. You are the only person that can identify who you trust most. And once you can establish that level of trust, please feel free to talk to people about it. I know some religious organizations do have such things in place where you feel comfortable to speak to your pastor, your imam, your religious leader basically, and you can be sure that your secret is will be kept within the space which it has been discussed. All right, on this note, I would like to summarize all we've discussed so far. So depression is a feeling of unhappiness which is persistent for a period of more than a week, lacking motivation in what you seem to enjoy previously. Sometimes it manifests in physical symptoms, just feeling tired all the time, lack of motivation, not wanting to get up from bed, just dreading the next day. These are the symptoms, and a basic and very cheap treatment plan is talking therapy. Just having somebody to talk to, sharing your difficulties, sharing your experience, and having someone that genuinely cares. Somebody who is genuinely there to listen to you, and most often being able to provide solution to what the problem, or just practical support, troubleshooting, and say, have you tried this? Do you think this is going to work? It's just, and in the worst case scenario, it could go along with medication. This medication does not necessarily mean you're going to be on it for the rest of your life. It's just for you to help stimulate the feel-good hormones in the brain that it's a bit low at that time. Thank you so much for listening to me. I do hope you find this helpful. If you have any questions or any more questions or queries that needs to be clarified, I'm more than happy to share more lights on this. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy listening.
Okay, thank you so much for listening. Sorry, I hope my guest has been able to answer all our questions on depression. If you have any thoughts, any question, whatever it is you want to know more about depression, please leave your comments below, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening. God bless you.